Good afternoon.
Hi, Damon. It's Elizabeth. I can't turn my camera on. I think Max is. There we go. Maybe that'll work now.
Yeah.
You cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Hi to you.
That's interesting. Go ahead, give me a
Elizabeth and
second.
Damon and Max.
Definitely something I intended to do.
Welcome, Myra. Oh, there she went.
Okay. Are you getting that sorted out, Max?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I just said that I was.
Okay, great.
I like your graphic. May it be true.
I'm not sure what this is about, so it may take me a few minutes, but yes, I am working on it.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll let a few more people roll in, and there's no reason we can't go ahead and at least discuss our minutes and things like that.
Are you officially opening the meeting then?
I don't know if we have quorum yet.
Okay.
I don't think we do. I know that we have 3 people who have told me they can't be here today. Claire, Allison, and Sylvia have informed me that they're unavailable or something has come up. So
Okay.
that's 3 that we know will not be here, at least not during the majority of the meeting. Sylvia might be able to come in at some point.
So just let me know when you're officially beginning and I'll note that time for the minutes.
Okay, all right, sounds good. We'll just wait a few more minutes. Hopefully we'll get another person or 2. Everyone doing well? I hope so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day out there. I had a nephew that got married over the weekend and it couldn't have been a prettier time. Nice.
Yeah.
It was an outdoor wedding with leaves and it was, you couldn't get much better for a fall wedding.
True.
In Charlottesville.
It was actually down between Alta Vista and Buena Vista. So a little ways down 29.
Okay. I don't really know that area, but
Yeah, if you just keep going down 29, it's a little bit past Lynchburg.
okay.
Yeah. How are you doing? How's the baby?
Baby's fine. She's actually eating right now because of course she wants to eat when I have to do something else.
Of course.
Congratulations, Stella. Congratulations
you.
are in order.
Thank you.
How old is the baby now?
I'm almost 2 months.
Hmm.
So yes, she's still little.
Very nice. I'm glad she's doing well.
Damon, this is Adrian here, just a request. What was the last word? Oh, there, I thought, I see Myra is there. I thought her graphic was Max. I got mixed up. Well, in any case, it's a great graphic.
There's another. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 11. So I think with Nana we have, oh yeah, now we definitely have quorum.
All right.
So why don't we go ahead and begin. Good afternoon, everyone. It's 4:35. As usual, our meetings are recorded. So that recording has already begun, including our chit chat. But let's go ahead and begin with our first piece of business, and that is regarding our minutes. Do you have anything that you would like to mention about them, Elizabeth?
Mention about them. Well, it was a lot of paperwork, I realize. There were the minutes from the retreat. And unfortunately, the sound was not wonderful. And so I'm sure there are some things I missed. And also we did have a period of time after Adrian's computer battery died before we realized we needed to start recording from someone else's computer, from Edward's computer. So there is a, and I mentioned this in the minutes. I note this in the minutes. There was a period there was a section that was not recorded during the reporting at the end. So sorry about that, but I hope everybody had a chance to read over the minutes. And also to look at the attachments, which were related to some of the discussions during the retreat, the officer list. Those are sort of the official minutes at this point. So it's the minutes from the retreat, the list of officers, and then the attachment that I made, which were ideas that were generated during Adrian and my presentation when we first opened up the topic of discussion about how ideas for generating more community awareness of the commission. If Claire, who's not with us tonight, wants to attach a report from her facilitated session to the minutes as well, that would be great. And we can always add those later. I guess we'll have to add those later because I haven't received anything official yet. So does anybody have questions about any of the minutes or any edits or revisions that need to be made, or anything that needs to be corrected?
One edit. I don't see Allison in the list of those who are present, at least in the version that we emailed out.
Okay, right. All right. I should definitely do that. I will do that. Didn't mean to leave her out.
I have a question, Adrian, here. Is it possible, do we have to approve the minutes before moving forward, or is it possible to postpone that for one more month? And I say that because of the gaps that we have with the recording that potentially could get a little better filled. And with the attachments, one of which we're waiting on with Claire. And I just wonder if it's possible to have more time to, and it was such a long meeting. It was so much more than our normal monthly meeting.
I don't know of a specific reason why we wouldn't be allowed. Does anybody?
I think we'd probably just have to take it to a vote just for the record keeping. I'm assuming if you wanted to move, Adrienne, that we postpone approving the retreat minutes until the November meeting, so that we can add
Yes.
additional documents and have more people present. That I think Robert's rules of orders are we would just need someone to move to do that, and then a second, and then if there's any further discussion, we have that, and if people are comfortable doing that, we can certainly vote on it. What do you think, Damon, that makes sense from a procedural perspective?
I think so. That's fine with me.
So for all those reasons, and just to give us some more time to digest, I move that we postpone the approval of the September retreat minutes to our next meeting, to our November meeting.
Okay. Is there a second?
Okay.
Not a second. Okay, all in favor of postponing the approval of our minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any opposed or abstentions?
Any? Okay, great. The ayes have it. It is unanimous. Thank you.
Also, may I add really quickly, but since we are postponing the official approval, I really just ask people to be sure that they review the blue highlighted action items, some of which were meant to have happened by tonight's meeting. So if you did not actually complete your action item, you've got a pass. You've got another month to do that. And if you did complete your action item, then just, maybe let me know, or we can certainly, review those when we do approve them next month. There's several action items that various folks we're going to be responsible for. So please be sure you review those. And if you're one of the people who needed to do something, make sure you have it done by the November meeting.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, let's move now to our secretary's report. And our secretary's report has a lot of elements that we've placed there, but let's start out. Elizabeth, do you have anything you'd like to report?
Let's see. I'm sorry, Damon. I just got back into town yesterday.
No problem. No problem.
Do
I
you
have-
recall?
Yeah, I have a few bullets on there that I'd like to speak about, if that's okay.
Okay. I don't think I have anything directly from the secretary's office to report. I was one of those people who actually did not, my apologies, I did not revise the bylaws to reflect the addition of our new email coordinator, but I will take care of that within the week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So I'll cede to you, Damon, since
Okay.
you've got several things you want to discuss.
Thank you. So the City of Charlottesville standard operating procedures that the city approved, I believe, on back in September, I believe 12th, was brought to my attention by Max, and gave us all an opportunity to read over it. And we just wanted to, we need to acknowledge that we have seen it. And so I'm doing that as by including this particular point in our meeting today. And I hope you all had the chance to read over it. It was basically spells out a lot about how we can, how we are allowed to meet right now and into the future, and how often we can meet, as well as how often we can meet virtually per year, and how often members of commissions are able to participate via phone or virtually when we are meeting in person. And for us, that is 3 times per year. But they have to be requested in advance. And I'm not going to go over all the details of that, but it was emailed out, and you're more than welcome to read over it. And if you do have questions, you're welcome to ask me about it, or anyone. Yes.
Yes, if I may, Damien, I had responded around what I call my interpretation of the procedures which I read over several times. And I don't want to get into discussion here, but Max, if you don't mind, I would like to perhaps give you a telephone call and have a brief conversation around that for clarity, because the thing, I think the point that we have to understand is there a requirement set forth by the city that the city staff or the ex officio from the city attend each and every meeting? Clearly, the definition of the directive focuses more on the fact that city staff may not participate more than once a month in any way, shape, and form, and sometimes there are conflicts. However, it does not preclude, based upon what I read, it does not preclude that the commission may meet or any other meetings of that. I read through it in detail, step by step, and I would seek perhaps a side discussion, if I may, Max, just to go through that because I don't want to belabor the point here in this particular meeting and find out if I am missing some additional procedures or clarifications that I did not read.
Right. So I missed the earlier part of that conversation because I was working on fixing the camera issue.
Yes,
The part that I caught and your interpretation of that SOP sounds exactly right. What I can do is check with the clerk to inquire. And
if I may, Max, I have prepared some question points. May I email those to you?
Yes,
Just
sir,
to
that's
have my
fine.
thinking. I will do that tomorrow morning, but thank you. And once again, I always love it when we can find somebody else to answer our questions for us. It makes life a lot easier, but thank you. And Damon, that's in line with the email I sent to you, all right?
You, Edward. Yeah, we're just thinking through how our commission can work most effectively together. And if we were not required to always have, not that we don't want you, we would love for you to be with us all the time. But if being able to meet at other times, not just our one meeting per year, still keeping minutes, still announcing the meeting, of course, but without the staff, the city liaison, if that might be a possibility, that would definitely provide us an opportunity to probably more effectively.
Max, one of the things in the document I was sending you that I prepared and I shared with Damon will be if we were to be allowed to have some latitude, we would create a procedures document within the sister cities for meetings and submit it to you all at the city for approval to make sure it is in line with the directive.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. And it'd also be great just for you to provide as much detail as possible in terms of what you anticipate the meeting schedule looking like.
I have that already written.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning, I will hit the send button and I will send it to you, okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
And so, Edward, will you
Yeah.
be reporting back to the full commission, or will
Without
you
a
be,
doubt.
or will
Without
you be passing that on to Damon to report back to the full
Quite frankly,
commission?
I will be passing it on to Damon. It would be much better because the conversation started in emails with Damon. He shared the data and I wrote it, but at the same time, I think Damon's in the best position to know how to share it. Once we got a ruling from the city, then I will leave it to Damon to know how to share that with the commission, okay?
Great, thank you.
I'm a little confused though. When you say once we get a ruling, does that mean, is that the information we'll get from Max first and then
We have
Edward, you would
we-
pass on your proposal to Damon?
I'm passing on to Max my ideas as to how we can approach this, suggestions around the meetings and some more details. And I will pass it on to Max so that Max and Damon can work together to be able to pose the question to the higher ups. I don't want to get in the middle or in the way of anyone doing anything. So once I submit my interpretation of how we can move forward, I will step back and I'll so that Max and Damon can figure out where we're going from here. Okay, so that's basically I will look to. So I'll share what I've written. Damon already has it. I will share it with Max, and then I will hopefully look for if Max doesn't have any questions for me. Obviously, if she has questions for me, reach out to me. But if it's clear enough as to what we want to do, then I will just step back and let Max and Damon communicate whatever the results of that discussion is, okay?
I guess I just want to know that the commission, all of us will be able to see what you're proposing.
The main point is we're trying to determine if we can meet more than once a month. That is ultimately what we're trying to determine. Whether that means if we are able to meet maybe in smaller numbers, maybe not the entire commission, maybe in committees, if we can meet more than once a month, but without the city liaison. That is what it's all about. It's
And
not.
Adrian, I'm not really proposing as much as I'm raising questions and submitting an interpretation. It is not my job to write a proposal for the Sister City Commission, and I'm not taking that on. I'm only suggesting my interpretation of the document to Max and to Damon, and then just sort of a little bit of a fodder to see where it goes. And then based upon what they discuss, Damon will say to us, we as a commission need to write a document. That's not my task.
Well, and maybe we don't even need a written document. Maybe we just need, I mean, I think all we need is clarification.
Clarification, in whatever form that may be, but whatever form that Max would need to have it in order to be able to clearly present it to be reviewed against the directive. So,
Okay, I think I understand. You're getting some information that would help all of us make, if there's any decision to be made, that will be brought to the whole group.
exactly.
And,
Right.
okay.
But I don't think we need a decision from the commission. We're looking for clarification from the city. That's
Gotcha,
what it's
gotcha.
about.
Yes.
And I have I mention this because I have a particular interest in this issue about meeting frequencies and time, et cetera, because of the grants committee. And I don't know, probably now is not the right time in our meeting today to bring that up. I could bring it up when we get to grants. And I say that because I'll take a couple of minutes on that. And also we have one of our former grant winners here with us to present, and I don't want to have her be waiting for too long. That's Myra Anderson. And Damon, I'll leave it to you if when you would like to have Myra take the floor.
Right. She is on our agenda after the email communications report.
Oh, okay.
So we have a couple more points, but we will get to her as soon as possible. So on the next point, you all read about the need for most likely changing our day. So we're now required to meet in person, all except for up to three virtual meetings per calendar year. So this is our first meeting since this just went into effect in September and we met in person last time. We are allowed up to 2 additional virtual meetings this year where we are all virtual. And then this renews next year. So in the year 2023, we have the option of having up to 3 virtual meetings. So, which means we need to find a location to meet in person, and preferably one that is regular. Kina brought to my attention that the first Tuesday of each month is the large meeting room in City Space is currently available. At least it was available most days a week or 2 ago when we had our conversation. So a question for us is, do we want to shift to that date? So far, everyone that responded to my question said that date was fine with them. Or do we want to try to stick with our current date and find another location to meet that is regular? I checked in with the Building Goodness Foundation, and they actually have a regular meeting that takes place on the 3rd Tuesday of each month. They just kindly asked that organization if they could not meet on the day that we had our retreat. So that day is not available at the Building Goodness Foundation, just for clarification there. So I want to ask once again, now that we're here in meeting, what you all think, if you are open to switching to the first Tuesday of the month as an ongoing indefinite meeting date, or does the 3rd really work for you and you really want to keep it and find another location? Thoughts?
I'm okay with whatever you decide.
I mean, generally,
if we can come up with an ongoing recurring location, that's always better than having to change the location on some unknown frequency. But I am comfortable. It's I have to rush to get here because the students don't leave my classroom till 3:55, and then I have to get out through the parking lot and buy the buses and jump in the car and get wherever I'm going to go. But I am comfortable with whatever you decide.
Everyone that responded to me said the first Tuesday works for them. Since no one, including today, has said that they can't do that day, or the third Tuesday works better for them, I tend to think we should go ahead and request the first Tuesday, unless anybody has an objection.
No objection.
I move that go ahead, Adrienne, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to throw in, and I'll illustrate this a little more clearly later, that it poses a little bit of a difficulty with the grants program schedule moving to the first Tuesday. But I would think we can be creative and find a way around that. And you'll know more about what I'm talking about in a bit.
And if we can get clarification from the city that it might be possible for us to meet in addition without a city liaison, then
That would help that. Yeah.
that would help greatly. That would solve our problem, I think. Okay, then I think, I don't know.
I
if
did
that's-
have a question.
Yeah, sure, Vivian.
Yeah, is there any, I might have missed this, but is there any barrier to doing the second Tuesday of the month?
It was just not available in city
Oh, okay.
space. Yeah, we
Got
based
it, got
it first on the availability at city space.
it. Okay, cool.
It could be that it's no longer available because time has passed and maybe somebody else took it. So I'll check in with Kina, but I think if it's still available, it seems like it's a great option for us if it generally works for everybody. And it sounds like it does. So I don't know if that's something we need to vote on. We can vote on it.
I don't think that the, golly, I don't have it quite to hand. I should have checked the bylaws to see if I don't believe that the bylaws specify when we meet. It just says that we meet once a month as a full commission. So I don't think we have to vote on it. If you want to give me a minute and move on to the next topic, to the next item, I'll check that out really quickly. And if it turns out we need to take a vote, I'll let you know.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's plan on beginning to, well, first of all, I will email Kina and get clarification, make sure that it is in fact still available.
I can check on that right now, Damon.
Oh, okay,
And
that
as
would be
soon as
great.
Elizabeth circles back with that information, I'll go ahead and put it on the calendar.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so how about we move on to our next bullet? And that is update on the new member handbook. And I believe, Adrienne, you're going to share with us.
Yes. I wanted to say that the handbook is labeled October 12th, 2022. This is the most recent version that's on the Google Drive, and it's there. We got edits from Max and have yet to incorporate those. Thank you, Max, for that feedback. And on the topic of edits and the contributions for the parts that are still missing, I wanted to share something with the group. And I ask that you allow me these couple of minutes just so I can express the state of my mind and spirit with in regard to this project of the handbook. I can't help but feel some frustration and some puzzlement. And it's connected to Elizabeth and my attempts to get this handbook going and pull it together, at least thus far. And it felt like we got agreement from everybody going back in August and September. It seemed like everyone was on board about reading it over and commenting or completing various sections by a certain time, the deadlines that we put out there. And but we didn't get any response, no response. And then we said, we know people are busy, we know people have full-time jobs and full lives. And so we asked some of you to tell us when the good deadline would be for you and when we could expect something from you according to your own schedule. And again, unless I've overlooked something, apart from hearing from Max, we heard nothing. So the handbook, at the current time is on the Google Drive. It's available to any of us, all of us, and the work I don't feel is in vain. In fact, I think it's a really valuable document for all of us. I know Elizabeth and I wish there were something like this in place when we came onto the commission. We think it's going to be especially good for new folks on the commission. And I'm ready to let it go and let it be what it will be. But I make a request tonight for something that would make a real difference for me. And that would be from the group that there's some acknowledgement of the work that we put into pulling this thing together. And for the future, I would like to ask for a response when we make these requests. Even if the response is, and I should caveat, I did hear from, we did hear from a couple of people, but the main group that we were looking for response from, we did not hear from. So I am totally okay with a response that says, look, my life is jam-packed, I can't get to it right now, or this needs to go to someone else, I can't do it at the moment. All of that is much, much better than not hearing anything. And that feeling of feeling like you're speaking into a void. So I feel, we're a good group of people, and I know we'll work well together and do better work together if we feel like we're being heard. And that's it. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Adrian. And I just want to thank you and Elizabeth for putting so much effort into putting the document together. I think we would have all appreciated such a document when we became a part of the commission. I know I would have. And it was no small task collecting all the different pieces, writing so much content and putting it all together, and following up with those of us who you were trying to get pieces from. So I do want to thank you both and recognize each of you for the efforts that you made.
Thanks.
And for those who still have pieces that need to be added, it's not too late. I'm sure they would gladly accept it. So
it's Edward made a point that there are things that this handbook doesn't do at the present moment. And he had some very nice ideas about things I think would be very helpful, either in the handbook or as another very operational document for this commission. But what we have so far is a nice collection of the rules and regulations, the history, the current state of affairs, how we work. So it's a good piece it's a good tool for this group at the moment. And yes, it's evolving and can be improved, added to, etc.
Thank you, Adrian. Okay, how about we move on to our final agenda item before we start with Myra. So, and our final one now is the email communications report. Adrian, do you have that?
Yes, it's this is pretty short. We received a request from someone asking about the grants application, and I responded to her saying there is no grants application to look at the moment because we haven't begun our new cycle. And typically we put the application up when we begin a new cycle and take it down when the deadline has hit. I had a general question if we would want to post an application, the most recent version of it, just for people who might want to see, what is this all about, even if the application period for the current cycle isn't officially open. And that same person asked if our budget for the grants program was available to the public. Now, I don't know if maybe Max can answer that question. Is our budget a matter of public record? Is it posted anywhere or?
So I would imagine that it is included in the budget information that the budget department themselves post on the city website. And as we're entering budget season, we just had a brief discussion about this yesterday. Members of the public can go to the budget page and drill down and see what funds were allocated where and different things like that. And so I haven't personally visited that page to see whether or not your funds are listed there, your budget's listed there, but I would imagine that it is. It's not going to be in great detail, though. It's just going to be the amount that the city allocated for you during the last fiscal year. Now, if we're talking about your monthly spending, that can always be a part of the agenda packet that I post for your meetings, if that's the desire of the commission.
Adrian,
Right
it
now,
seems
I
like
only
we were-
post the agenda and the minutes. And I think for this month, I posted one other thing, but not all of the attachments that were included in the email that we received from Damon. So.
Adrian, it sounded like, were they just interested in the grants budget? I mean, is that what they asked about?
She did not specify, I don't believe,
Okay,
but
Well,
I suspect she might have wanted to know. I don't really know, but she might have wanted to know how much money is available for grants.
right. You know, I don't think there would be a problem once we have that figure decided, just telling someone in an email. You know, I don't think they necessarily want to see our grand spreadsheet of all of our expenses. If their question is in relation to, you know, I mean, if we have budgeted, let's say up to four grant or a grant total of $16,000 with a maximum of 4,000 per grant, which I think was what we had in mind last year, something like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with sharing that information. It is public. And it would answer, I'm sure they would rather that than us pointing them towards, you know, a website where there are lots of different budgets. Presuming it's answering the question, you know. What do you all think?
Maybe I can, I wonder, and we can talk about this again later when we come back to grants, but maybe we could also announce what the year's grant budget is when we open the application period.
Sure.
I mean, it'll be tempting to people to think, hey,
Yeah.
I want to put forth a project because there's this much money. And I don't know that why we want to specifically hide it. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe we did do that. I just don't remember, but I don't think there's any reason to hide it. People know there's up to 16,000 or 20 or whatever it is that we
Right.
sell. Okay, well, thank you.
okay, so
Was there-
that's that. One other request about travel to Ghana fairly recently, and I copied Nana on my reply to that person, and she said she and her family were interested in going to Winneba, and she was asking, how do I go about it, or what are my steps? And they wanted to go in the summer. I did tell her about the upcoming trip at the end of this year, and how to find out more information about it. There's one last item, and this involves an oversight of mine. An invitation came right after our retreat, or shortly after our retreat meeting, that I somehow missed. And it's an invitation from someone named Lorna Johnson to a Zoom meeting involving the Sister Cities International -Ghana. So there must be the relationship between Ghana and Sister Cities International and the US Embassy in Ghana. And that happened October 3rd. And I want to say I'm sorry that I didn't get that out to the whole commission, and especially to you, Nana, or you know, really to let everyone know. It was a Zoom meeting. An agenda came out on the day, October 3rd, and I can pass that on to everyone. I can certainly forward the email again, just so you know what took place. If you have specific interest, maybe there's a recording of that meeting. It did say we will be meeting with the Public Affairs Office to discuss our activities, visa concerns, and their support of the upcoming Sister Cities International -Africa Summit in Cape Town, South Africa. So
Yeah.
that's,
We got that information somehow.
oh, good.
Yeah, we got it, and we were trying to connect with them, but it wasn't working.
Oh, okay.
So the plan is that we will be going there. I'll be going there myself. I'll be going to the embassy myself to meet with them and ask what the whole deal is about.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm sorry I missed that one, but
And I got the Jody one too. The other one. Yeah. We are working on it.
okay, great.
Yeah.
That's it on the email.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
May I just update on the, I sent everybody in the chat that there is no requirement, there's nothing in the bylaws that specifies our date, our meeting time or date. So we're free to set that. The important thing is that we're free to set that at a time that is convenient for the majority of the commission members.
Good. Well, and I see that Kina, according to Max's message, has already reserved the space for us.
Okay,
So
great.
I guess that means our next meeting is in a few weeks.
So that will be starting with the November meeting.
Well, I don't know. That's something, let's email each other about that. I think we can email. Let's not spend time on that today if it's okay with you all, because that's not, we can communicate with each other and decide if we want to do that or how we want to do that. But I think we probably will anticipate December at least beginning with that schedule.
Good.
Sound good? Okay. Okay. Let's move on to our special guest today. Myra, would you join us? We can't wait to hear all about your experiences and your program. So we really appreciate you applying for the grant, and thank you for bearing with us as we go through all these things that we discussed. So by all means, go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me an opportunity to just pretty much talk about the grant that I received. I know that there probably were a number of you who were not on the Sister City Commission when I was initially awarded the grant in January 2020. So I wanted to just take a moment and go from there to here. I was awarded a grant in January of 2020. I had requested $4,000 for the purposes of a Peach Love Poetry Project, which would be a collaborative between youth here in Charlottesville and in our sister city in Winneba. I was awarded $2,500 of the requested $4,000. And so I opted to, because we already have the Charlottesville Winneba Foundation who goes to our sister city twice a year. I thought it was more practical for me to collaborate and get on a trip to go to Winneba with them, because they would be able to help make the connections with the school there and so forth. So I was scheduled to be on the trip in the spring of 2020. I had my workshop set up there, and I had a subsequent workshop set up here in with Charlottesville City Schools. And then the pandemic hit, and international travel was put on hold. So our whole trip was canceled. And then there was a stay-at-home order. So the date that I had initially for the schools also went by. So because the trip of 2020 got canceled, I got on the next trip to Winneba, which was in spring of 2021. But I also want to highlight that one of the things I had requested initially was to have money for a videographer. and the grant, or to be able to get some good recording equipment. And that wasn't included. So I reached out to the Lighthouse Foundation, which was recommended by someone on the Sister City Commission at that time. And this would have been in spring of 2020. And they so graciously found a student who was willing to travel and do all the video recording for me, because again, I'm a poet, not really a videographer. But that also got canceled in the spring of 2020. They had backed out before everything got shut down. They didn't think it was a good idea to put their student on. But so I want to say, even though they didn't end up traveling, I was very gracious that they were even going to help me with my project, because they found the money to pay for their own student to be on board, since it wasn't a part of the grant. Fast forward to 2021, and I finally get to Winneba to connect with a school there. And because of the relationship again, and being able to go with the Charlottesville Winneba Foundation, I was able, as soon as I was emailing back and forth, but it was easier to connect once I hit the ground. I met with the superintendent of the schools and showed her my presentation. She took me over to one of the site that I would be using. And I met the principal, and this was days before I was supposed to be there. So in May of 2021, I had the workshop in Winneba, and I did not have anyone with me to record. So I did the best job that I could with my cell phone, but it presents a unique challenge to try to facilitate a workshop while simultaneously trying to record the workshop and making sure that that's good. So I had a camera set up, but I wasn't able to double check audio and even sometimes the screen to make sure everything was perfect, because I was facilitating the workshop. When I returned on this end after May of 2021, in June, the schools were closed down for the summertime. So in the fall, I tried to reconnect with the school system, because I had to do the same workshop on this side that I had done in Winneba. And for a few months, I was unable to, I had a contact with the school that was given to me by the Sister City, someone on the Sister City Commission at that time. And we had been in communication in the spring, but in the fall, it was several months when I didn't hear anything back. And so when I connected with someone else at the school, I was told that that particular person had left their position. And they reconnected me with someone else to try to get this off in the school system, because it was recommended that when I got my grant letter that I connect and try to connect this with Charlottesville City Schools. So we tried that in the fall, trying to didn't really get off the ground. So in the spring, I opted to have the workshop at a park, again, because the pandemic was going and the schools weren't really committing. And what they agreed to do was to make announcements and promote the workshop that I was going to do at the park. And they did in fact do that, because some of the students came from the school that I was working with that time, Beaufort Middle School. So back to the issue of the recording, I'm presented with the same issue as in Winneba of not having good audio. Although when I did the workshop on this side, there was some volunteers who were helping me to record, and the sound didn't really turn out much better, even though I had someone else recording. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we weren't able to test to see how good the audio was on the actual recording. And I'm saying this because part of the grant was not only to have the idea, the proposal was not only to facilitate a workshop here, a poetry workshop, but to have a shared experience so that youth in both sister cities were doing the exact same workshop, and it would be recorded and combined into one video where you would see the students on both ends reading, doing the similar poetry workshops, and sharing some of their poetry. So that was in essence why all of this recording was necessary, because also for people who weren't a part of the youth that were participating on this side or that side. It would be a way for the whole community here and in Winneba to be able to see exactly what the workshop was all about. So that's why the recording piece was in there to begin, because it was the way to connect our communities and people who weren't, youth who weren't a part of the workshops, to be able to see exactly what we did in the workshop and put it in a format that would be available to our residents in our sister city as well as here. So that's why the recording piece was so important, an important part of the workshop. So when I got back and I was able to review my recording, a lot of the recordings, I sent it all to the videographer to put into a short 15-minute, up to 15-minute documentary kind of video of both things that would be able to premiere. It wasn't brought to my attention until the week of when the premiere was supposed to take place, just how poor of quality the audio was. And because I was actually there and heard everything at both workshops, when I'm looking at the video, it didn't kind of hit me in a way that it wasn't able to be understood at all. But I went to the library because that's where the premiere was supposed to take place. And the assistant librarian watched the whole clip and gave me the feedback that it was of, poor quality as far as the hearing and not being able to hear. So I really made a decision, and I don't know if it was the right decision, but I decided not to have the premiere because I thought that with a video of such poor quality that it really didn't speak in depth to what I was trying to create on both ends. Now, having said that, at this point, because it was just a few days before the premiere, I'd already uploaded the video before I had went to the library onto a YouTube format. So I'm happy to send the video to the commission so you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about, and the fact that you can't hear any of the poets. You can see them saying their poems and they're mouthing them, but you can't really pick up on the audio. But I will say that there were probably close to 20 youth on the Winneba side who participated in the program. They were all from the same middle school. It was actually the drama club. And they did an amazing job on that end as far as the poetry went. Same on this side. You had youth who came. It wasn't quite as many, but they walked down to the park. It was held at Tonsila Park last spring, and they engaged in the same workshop. I deeply regret the fact that the audio was not what I had hoped it to be, because I feel like that was what would have made the connection for everyone who wasn't a part of the workshop or wasn't there. But again, this whole project did not turn out the way that I had originally anticipated from the beginning, as well as the timing, as well as not having my own videographer, as well as not being able to get video equipment and so on and so forth. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I had to report, unless anyone has questions.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for going through all the process of working on the project and working with the youth in both countries. Were the poems of the youth, were they collected in a written form, or could they be?
Good question. So some of them, a lot of the youth in Winneba wanted to keep their poems. So what I did was take some screenshots with my phone of some of the poems, and then some of the kids gave me their originals. The problems with some of the ones that I screenshotted is when I tried to blow it up to really read the writing, I couldn't read the writing. So on some of them, depending on which poem it is, I could, and then on others, I couldn't. But I would say from 100%, I probably have about maybe 75% of the poems, the hard copies of the poems. And I have all of the videos, and I have probably maybe 50 or 60 pictures, which a lot of them were used in the video short.
Okay.
Myra, you still have contact with the school?
The superintendent is still the same, yes.
But I mean, are the students still there?
That's a good question. And I don't know that I can say that because when I was there, it was in the spring of 2021.
May I make a suggestion? Would you reach out to them to see how many students are still there and ask them to make an audio recording, reading their poems, which we can use then to dub into your video?
That's a good idea. And I don't know if it will be able to happen. The school that I was working with, I would need to, again, get the support from the Charlottesville Winneba Foundation to make that happen, because the school that I was working with does not have Wi-Fi at all. They don't have internet. So I was going in, and that's why I was using my phone. So it could work, but I would need someone on the ground there to be able to do those recordings.
Yes, of course. And once again, I think the first question is if the students are still there. From a technology point of view, I think we could probably figure out how to assist fairly expeditiously to have those students record them and go from there. I mean, if they don't have cell phones or old-fashioned tape recorders, but there are many ways that we can employ inexpensive technology if the students are still there and if the school is willing to record them, because I think if we can get them reading their own poems, their voices, those who might be available, it would be invaluable towards enhancing the video that you have and making it a product which you'd be very, very proud of.
Edward, the problem here is that Myra was even lucky for the school to have electricity.
I understand.
Yeah,
understand.
I don't know. If you take about 10 schools, only about 2 have
Yes, of course.
electricity.
But I think it warrants a question. I think the answer may be no, but I think they deserve the chance to have an opportunity to see if they can do something to provide those. And it may not be the case. They may say they can't do that, but I think that we should at least ask them.
The other barrier, at least on the Winneba side, not so much here, is that this particular school, and again, I'll send you the video so you'll see it for yourself. They had their windows wide open because of the heat.
Yes.
The road is right there. So there are cars going up, like every imaginable noise is going on. And you can hear everything else in every other classroom because all the windows are open. And I'm not saying that as an excuse, but again, once I send you the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. Even if they were recorded again, they would need to be in a completely different area so that you could actually catch what the students is saying.
Yes, of course.
Because in addition to my audio not being good, what you hear louder than the students talking is all the background noise.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Well, once again, I think the first step, if I may suggest that, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I think it's worth an effort to see if there's an opportunity to recapture the audio in some way, shape, or form. And the answer may be no, but I think it'd be valuable to your project if we're able to do that.
it might be a very nice thing for somebody for one of us to send in a grant request for a video camera or something. Hello.
Oh, you talking to me? Sorry. Well,
Yeah.
That was
I
a
thought you were
subtle, that was
just.
a subtle suggestion, Nana.
Yes,
thought you were-
exactly. Exactly.
I had requested that in my
Exactly.
original grant proposal, but I had to use what it was that I was funded, which was $2,500.
Yes.
$2,000 went towards getting to Winneba.
Yeah.
And so in that $500, I had to split that in half to get someone to do the video edits. And so now I'm looking at the rest of the money for all of the materials, everything that was needed. And I added money to that to make that part work out. And so
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. And I had that same idea, but it didn't
my
quite.
mind is a subtle, way of, that, hey, we'll send in a grant for you to give us a camera of some sort. Mr. Chairman, you hear that?
So, well,
I have a
I'd like
question.
to-
I do
Yeah,
have a
go ahead.
question. Am I able to share some of the video now, or you would rather me? So just so you can see what I'm talking about, I've talked about it a lot, so you can actually see for yourself. Is that able to happen now?
we can listen to for a couple of minutes, sure.
Okay,
Share screen, yeah.
so I'm gonna share screen.
Yes.
Okay. Hang on.
While she's getting that together, I know that some of us have to leave at 6 o'clock. So we'll want to move quickly after this.
Okay. I'm just gonna go to, is the screen sharing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna move to close to what I'm talking about so you can hear for yourself.
I wonder if I don't think it's sharing the actual audio.
It's not?
No, we don't hear anything. Just
Oh,
the video.
what do I need to do? I can hear it.
So,
Anything on this end, but I will take a look.
I think if you go back, so stop sharing and then
Okay,
go back and click share screen. And
okay,
I believe okay, yeah. Go back, click share screen, and then on the bottom left of the pop-up that shows all
click
your
share.
photos, yeah, share sound. Click share sound. And then turn on the video.
Can you hear now?
Yes, we hear it now. Thanks.
Smells like
Okay.
an ice cream. Birds singing all day and people enjoying. Come to the beach and feel the fresh air over there.
The beach is a serene and ideal haven. Trees dancing according to the tunes of the wind. Golden sand crunched with each step. Waves crashing and tumbling over whilst the wind whistles a secret mumble across your mind. Crabs skittle across the sand, freaking you out for a second. But then a smile cuts across your face and you relax.
Good job.
Magnificent and sparkling pleasure for creatures and organisms. The color of the beach is bliss and blue. The sky looks very gorgeous.
The choir
and
is
rainbow.
outside.
The beach smells like an inhaled bouquet of roses and emerald. The sand is smooth and fine, and when I walk on the beach, The beach is an amazing and magnificent place for resting.
Good job. This is the superintendent of schools.
A foreign language, and it goes with so many characteristics. The literature aspect, we all see it to be dry. What you doing? You read the folklore and you see how it is. So going this way,
You really can't hear what she's saying, but
what language is. It's not just speaking. These are the things that make language so beautiful. So I love it. Encourage your colleagues to also come up with things. So I love it. Encourage your
So I want to pause here. So I recognized my sound wasn't good in Winneba. So I had the kids with the microphone on this side, hoping that it would do better with the sound. It didn't do much better.
Over to the other side, you can flip your page over.
I have a lot of gratitude in my life. I have a lot of joy. Let me explain. I like friendships, food, basketball, TikTok, candy.
So again, I'll be happy to send this out, but the main thing for me is the sound and the fact that you really can't make out the poems and what the kids are saying.
I actually, and I agree, it's difficult to understand some, but it was better than I expected.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought
I enjoyed it very, very much.
the students, especially in Winneba, were pretty clear. And yeah, there's the background noise. I think that'll be difficult to escape without them being inside a building. But yeah, I would love to see the remainder of the video. Obviously not right now, but I'd love to watch the, get the link of it. It was better than I anticipated after hearing from you. And I'm sorry, I don't think any of us were on the commission in January of 2020. I just joined in February or at the end of January. So I don't know their reasoning behind the budgeting that they determined. I don't guess any of us probably do. But we very much appreciate all of your efforts in going there and interviewing the children and collecting their poems. I think you did a magnificent job with the resources that you had. And I think you've done something that you can be proud of, and that meant a lot to those children. So I want to thank you for all that you did to put this together, to plan the program, and to implement it to the best of your ability. And so I think I speak for all of us where we say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Myra, I want to echo everything Damon said. It was so helpful to see the video because I think it gave us a real idea of what you did over there. And it wasn't as muddled as we might have expected. And what I'm thinking is I'm so fired up by just seeing that little bit of the video and also from your photographs that I've seen that I feel like if you were willing, this project has another leg yet, which is if possible to have the kids on both sides video themselves reading a poem, one of their poems, hopefully one that was done in your workshop, but just the fact of holding the phone up, and I realize that the children in Winneba may not have access to cell phones or have their own or whatever, but and collecting those videos and either dubbing, like Edward suggested, dubbing the voices or editing the videos into that video or tacking them on at the end. And if that high level of technology would prove difficult, the written, having the poems just typed in a document that people could access electronically would bring this, would add a whole nother dimension to this project. And it would record what you did, the value of what you did and what took place. And it would be archived too for the future and allow so many other people to have access to this project. So with all that said, I just want to add one thing as the grants committee chair. I don't know for how long, but that I know we have a rule about not applying a second time. Well, I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly what that rule is, but in case there's a rule that you cannot apply 2 times in a row, I want to suggest that maybe you consider asking for a dispensation, maybe, because you were faced with COVID. This was high COVID stuff, and there might be some allowances for, you know, a supplementary grant to allow you, if you were interested in making that collage of audio video additions to your video or something written. And if you're done with it, we would understand that. But I just want to propose that it's such a great thing, and I want to share it with more people.
Well, a couple of things. One, what I was trying to figure out, and I still haven't figured it out, but a couple people told me that it could be done because I uploaded it to YouTube, was putting subtitles where the kids were talking so that you would be able to hear, you would be able to see the words of what they're saying.
Nice.
I'm not that savvy, but I was told that it can be done. And so I was asking around to see how could I get this done and how costly that is, because even though that would, at least for the poetry part, be able to do. So that's something I had been trying to figure out really for the last month. And then the second thing is, when I send you the video, when the superintendent starts talking and she's giving feedback to me, by the way, I forgot to say this. I didn't realize, because I guess in Winneba, you know, they do their own thing. They don't tell you. I went to meet with her and she sent me to the school. But on the day of my workshop, the superintendent and her staff come in and have a seat for the whole workshop. So at the end, when you hear her talking, even though you can't get everything, she's giving me feedback on the workshop. She sat there and listened to it. And that kind of, I mean, if you can imagine being here in Charlottesville and doing something, and then the superintendent comes in and they're sitting unexpectedly and they're sitting and watching the whole thing. But in the video, she's like, and sister, when you come again, I want you to meet with the teachers ahead of time, because I didn't realize that poetry isn't a part of the curriculum at that school. So it was something very, very special for them to participate in. I didn't know that. And that's what she was going on and on about. But I had a lot of obstacles in this whole project, and it did not, from beginning to end, in any way what I had imagined and what I had put down, just given the fact that we were in a pandemic and a whole bunch of other variables. It did not, the finished product was not in any way polished and what, you know, I had hoped it to be. And perhaps some of that is my own pride, because I have very high expectations of how I like things done. And it's just does not, what it ended up being, the recording, just the quality of it was not what I had anticipated. And I take very much pride in the fact that this is a sister city project. And I just didn't think it was of that caliber to put out there as finished the way it was, and not everyone being able to hear.
You know, just put together all your obstacles and let's go with what Adrian is saying, and try a second time, and let's put together all your obstacles and let's see how we can clear the obstacles for you to get it done it better.
And to the last part of your question, when you were saying, are you just done with this? I want to have the best thing that I could possibly have. So if that means I have to go back on my own time again and figure out how to take some of these recommendations and make it happen, I'm fully committed to doing that because again, it wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be, but if I could make it a little bit better, I think I would feel better about it. And then anyone else is watching it, at least they would be able to follow along with what's being, what the whole thing is about, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes great sense. And I would just add that even if it ends up being a little bit patchworky and just kind of adding on or putting together with what you already have, if you can't like totally do a redo, you may not be able to do a redo, but I think there's a story built in to the problems. There's a story built into the obstacles that has a certain beauty to it. The fact that of what you intended to do, what you were able to do, what you ended up with, and then how you tried to, polish it by adding in the subtitles or having a supplementary little book of poetry that someone could download or whatever it might be. That seems to me that that's part of this story of your project, and it's touching and great in its own right.
Excuse me, Myra, I'd like to offer you one thing. I own a lot of video editing software, and I've done quite a bit of that in all phases of taking videos and preparing them with subtitles, with dubbing, with background, everything, also with the elimination of extraneous sounds. I'd like to offer that to help you when you're ready to do that. It's obviously there's no charge. It would be very willing to do it because I'm very fortunate that I can do that sort of thing. So you do what you need to do to get your footage, get your recordings, to get what you need to do, and then I will help you turn it into a product that you yourself will be happy with. Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, Myra, we thank you so much for your efforts, and I'm proud of what you did.
Yes, quite proud.
I know that you have high standards, and we appreciate that. But what you did was extremely meaningful for those children, and it gave all of us and anyone who watches that a view into their world.
Yes.
And it truly impacted them, and it's impacting us. And thank you, Edward, for your kind offer. That's wonderful. I didn't know you had those skills, so I'll have to now you've been outed as having. So Myra, but we just want to thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to share Edward's email address.
Yeah, that's it. Communicate
with each other. Okay. Well, I think we'll go ahead and say goodbye to Myra. Myra, it's a public meeting. You're welcome to stay with us. You want to say one more thing? Go ahead.
No, I was
You're
saying
just
peace.
saying goodbye. Amen. Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you. All right, folks. I think that ended well. I think that was a good presentation. It is 5:47 and we have a lot of agenda in front of us, and I know let's see how much we can accomplish. So we have a couple of travel funding requests today. We're in Winneba, so we can talk about Nana. Nana has requested travel funding for this upcoming year. We have a number, actually, initially last year we had Elizabeth who had requested funding for travel, which we agreed we would push to 2023. And now we have 2 more requests for funding. We have a budget each year of $4,000 for travel funding. So we're in Winneba. So Nana, would you like to discuss your funding request?
Yeah, well, I have this. Please, forgive me. I just got my new glasses and I'm now getting used to it. We have. I need to. I want to formally request the the 2,000 from the commission for the upcoming 2023 we Winneba trip coordination, and also for the May delegation, and also there is a delegation from the Piedmont Housing Alliance who wants to visit Winneba, and also the Washington and Lee University group, and the Virginia State University, which I will have to be there to coordinate all these 4 big delegations. So that's why I'm requesting for the 2023 funding. I've already sent the letter. Unfortunately, because of the light, I couldn't read it very well. Please pardon me.
So, we, like I said, we also have a second request from Edward for funding, and for travel during 2023. Unfortunately, I was hoping it would come in this year, but then we had a hurricane down there and it needs to be postponed.
Are we in a position that we can actually earmark from this year to go into next year's budget? Can that happen?
It's a good question.
Because I would think, because Elizabeth had planned on going and I had hoped to go this year, and the funds remain unused in this year's budget. And I think that, would you check with Max to see if that can be earmarked, and therefore that we are not all trying to squeeze it in 2023?
Max or anyone, is there any reason we can't choose to do that? I guess Michael, our treasurer, is not here today, but thoughts on that regard about?
I would want to know if we've spent anything already in this current fiscal year.
Yes, let me see.
Of the 4,000 that the spending guidelines say, as you just said, Damon, 4,000 per year for city rep travel. And
so
go ahead.
I can speak to expenses, turning my camera on, not necessarily related to travel, but I believe there have been 3 expenses thus far for FY23. One of $720 was a grant payment for Elias. I think I'm saying that right, Alonzo. That was in July. 2 expenses in July. The second in July is for $3,651.63. And that was also a grant payment to the Bridge Progressive Arts Initiative project. And then the most recent expense was for the Dinner for the Sister Cities 2022 annual retreat for $279.21. And so the remaining balance at this point is $47,326.16.
From what you said, it appears that $700 was used in 2022 for travel, when Elias traveled.
No. That would have been an expense. That's an expense against the grants budget. So it sounds as if we have not dipped into any of the 4,000 set aside for city rep travel in this current fiscal year.
Well, the current fiscal year is the 2023 fiscal year, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm, right.
Right, but we also didn't, I'm not sure we spent, was any money spent in 2022 from on city rep travel?
That's a good question.
I thought the question was if there had been funds that had been committed. So I'm the one who requested that. I know that I requested the city rep travel allocation in anticipation of traveling to Besançon in May of 2022.
Right.
which I was not able to do, so I deferred it. And so my question is, I'm wondering if that's what Edward was asking, if there were funds that were earmarked but unused
Exactly. That's exactly what I was
in
asking.
2022, can they
Oh,
be
I misunderstood.
used in 2023 and not be
Detract from
considered part of the 2023 allocation?
Thank you, Elizabeth. That's exactly what I was trying to ask.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. But that's a great question.
Nana, your last request was in 2021, correct? For travel that happened at the end of 2021 in December. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
So,
$2,000.
okay.
So
So-
mine is for 2023 now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and Edward was planning on going during this year.
But Damon, are we talking about, when is the year that we're talking about? I'm confused now. When is the beginning and the end of this 2023 budget year that we're talking about?
It begins July 1st, 2022. It ends June 30th, 2023.
So if I had gone in next month, it would still been part of the 2023 budget.
Right. So the issue is really the question to resolve, and we may have to ask Michael to research this and report back before we can take a vote, or before we can, we need to vote by proxy, because I know time is of the essence. But the question to resolve is, if there are 3 of us who are now expecting to travel to our sister cities in the current budget year, which there are, and we've all requested city rep travel funds, and only $4,000 can be allocated in any one fiscal year, how can we accomplish that by fully funding all 3 of us? And it seems the only way we could do that is if we could take earmarked but unspent funds from 2022, mine, and use them in 2023 without that offsetting, without that diminishing the potential to fund both you and Nana in 2023 as well.
That's well stated, Elizabeth. That's exactly what we were thinking.
You know, roll those funds forward because they were unspent last year, so they are still technically on the books. I mean, they're in the budget, well, they were in the budget, and whatever wasn't spent last year is still there.
Right.
But I don't know the answer to that question. It seems like a question that maybe Michael and Max need to talk about and then let us know, right?
Yeah. So from my standpoint, there is no issue. You know, it's your budget. And as long as the commission as a whole agrees to it, then it's fine by us.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we have a standing request from Elizabeth that we carried forward, and we have 2 requests from Nana and Edward for this upcoming year.
And Max, I'm sorry I didn't hear clearly before. Did you say that in the previous year, the fiscal year ending 2022, that we did spend something on travel?
$2,000. Nana was awarded $2,000
Okay,
for travel.
so there's a remaining 2,000 from that.
Now, is there something we can make a motion about? I'm reluctant to be, I don't want to jump ahead of the cart here, and I don't want to, I feel uncomfortable making a motion myself because I want the people who want to travel.
I think it would be appropriate if Adrian, Stella, or Vivian made them.
I move that we take a vote on the proposed moving, using $2,000 that was unused for the fiscal year 2022 and assigning $4,000 for fiscal year 2023 to be split between 2,000 to Nana and 2,000 to Edward for city rep travel.
Well, I will second. I will second that.
Okay. All in favor of this?
Okay.
Of this
Is there
motion?
any,
please
is there
say-
any, is there a need for any further discussion about that? And does that seem clear to everyone? I mean, those of us that are here to vote on it?
Maybe we should specify that, that we specify though that according to our spending guidelines, that would end the travel
Any
money.
further allocations until the
up-
next fiscal year.
Till the, yeah, right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah,
And
next
is it
fiscal
possible-
year, next fiscal year, which is which?
July
2020
1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
No,
Yeah,
no. No, the fiscal year ended in June 30th, 2022, and that's the one that's carrying over the 2,000. And then we started
Yes.
a new one that we're applying the 4,000 to.
right. But then if we were to approve both of those requests today, that means for the remainder of this fiscal year, there's no additional allocated city rep travel money unless we made a special decision as a commission.
Yes.
That's what I thought you were specifying,
Yeah.
Adrian.
It would
Yes.
carry us through mid-2023.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Once again, I second the motion that was made, that we,
Okay.
okay,
So all in favor of agreeing on this motion, please say aye.
I,
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the ayes have it, and
okay, so unfortunately I have to sign off because I'm starting to teach a class in 1 minute.
thank you, Elizabeth.
I'm gonna ask for somebody to, I need to, before I do that, I need to be sure I get the wording of the motion correctly. So Adrienne, would you please state that again?
Oh, stated, okay.
We also have the recording. I mean, we do have the recording of this meeting
Okay,
where we can go back. We're in the about the 90th minute of the meeting right now.
okay. All right, well, I can go back and pull from that then.
Okay. And
I'm gonna have
Elizabeth,
to sign off now.
you could contact me too and I could
Okay,
rephrase it. I'm gonna have to go too, and that means something my report on grants, which isn't much, just the need that the grants committee do meet. And I did make a graphic showing the importance of having those grants committee meetings. I can talk with you, Damon, and determine how
Sure.
best to fold those into a campaign or a case we make for meetings.
Yeah, and we'll be in touch with Max too for clarification on the, I mean, it might be hopefully moot and we don't need
Yes.
to go any further.
and before I sign off, could I ask Edward, would you be willing just to do a quick report on the Besançon, the new school exchange
yes, I will. I'll be happy.
in
to.
my place? Thank you
Yes,
so
I would
much.
be very glad to.
All right, everybody, I'll
Thank you.
listen to the recording and fill in the rest of the minutes as best as I can, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, and
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you all.
Adrienne.
And I'll see you as well
Bye-bye.
next
Bye,
time.
Adrian.
Bye-bye.
So we'll say goodbye to them, but we are now not in quorum. So we won't be making any decisions further in this meeting, but we do have some updates that are important. I also have to leave soon, but let's continue on just for the record. I don't have a new update regarding the possible event with the ambassador of Ghana, and I will let you know if we do. We had talked about determining how the Sister Cities Commission would support or collaborate with the UVA Center for Politics on such an event. So that's something we'll need to discuss another day. More than likely at this point, this event won't happen this calendar year. So we have time to make those plans. So next we have Besançon.
And for the sake of efficiency, if I may, I will do Besançon and we can then go together and I can speak and shut up. Okay.
That's
I
fine.
know, Damon, you're saying Edward never shuts up. I know.
No problem.
Okay, quickly, what Elizabeth referred to is the fact that I'm working directly with the exchange coordinator or the exchange requester at a high school in Besançon. It's a project that she's been working on. It's a project, it would be an additional high school. The county and the city already has 2 exchanges with Besançon. This will be a third one for different high school. And they're engineering students in a special high school, but they're also sports students. And we're trying to look at how do we incorporate that. The majority of the contact with the people with Charlottesville High School. There are high school students. They will need host families. There will be some offshoots of them working, doing some things with the middle school. But once again, we have to look at some aspects of liability if they were to do something with the Boys and Girls Club and the part of Sister City of working with Charlottesville High School. So that's being worked. I will have another Zoom call with the people from France at the end of this month. It wouldn't happen for 2 years. They're on a cycle of every 2 years. So they are visiting places this October. They come in October, and then the next opportunity for them to come here will be in October of 2024. The work to put this change in place does take a while. It's not a simple process. As you know, Damon, you know, you've done all these finding houses for people and organizing activities and visits to classes and, you know, partners, and it's not easy. So the first step is, once we got a plan, is I have to find owners in the school. We can only facilitate, we can only nudge, we can only help. We cannot make the plan happen ourselves because we just can't do that. So once we have a plan that we can present and get approval on, the first task will be to find owners in the high school who will champion this and help be responsible for it. So that's what we're working on, and we're moving forward steadily, but I'm a big detail person, and the information the person has sent originally, I said to him, that's not anywhere near in sufficient detail that gives me the ability to actually present this to anybody. Now, Way Way Chenango, and thank you, we've got the whole travel thing done, but one of the reasons that I did not go in November has to do with the fact that they had a hurricane about a week and a half ago, Hurricane Julia. And though we didn't hear much about it here, Hurricane Julia basically did substantial damage from Colombia, Venezuela, Colombia, all the way through to southern Mexico. We had about 5 people in the department of Way Way Chenango who lost their lives. In my contacts with the people there, we had lots of damages and streets washed away and houses washed away. So I immediately canceled my plans to go, not to put them under the pressure while they're trying to come out from under a hurricane or having to host a visitor. So I moved it to February, which, by the way, February is a much better month there. You know, now, one of the things that I do have, something I didn't have before, is I have a wonderful list of all the commission members who are meeting about within the next 10 days as a first step of organizing my visit. There are 12 people whom I will be meeting with, from city managers to officials in the government. In addition to, I will be stopping in Guatemala City to meet with the people in the embassy there, the American embassy, to understand our commercial opportunities, yes or no, or cultural opportunities. So that's part of the plan. The trip is planned for now for mid-February, and there will become a formal request from the city of Way Way Chenango to the city of Charlottesville, saying we request that Mr. Herron visit us, you know, on these dates. Because, you know, if we're going to spend city money, we want to make sure that everybody, and the city in particular, says, you know, that no, this is a real trip. You know, we can't ever afford to put ourselves in a position of appearing to have gone on a boondoggle. So that's the result of that. I did write to the city officials that I'm aware of, that I have contact with, to express our support from the city of Charlottesville as they rebuild and they move forward. And it's just going to be interesting. One last thing, during the time I will be there for about a week or so, I will have an escort who I will provide with a video camera, a nice video camera. I'm going to record as much of my meetings and my visits and my sightseeing in Way Way Chenango as possible, so that I can come back and prepare about a 15-minute summary of what we did. I would love to go through the city, to be able to have a portrait shown in the nightly news or someplace to say, Charlottesville seeks a new, or Sister City, or this is what Charlottesville is doing with the new Sister City. I think everything we do can be a promotion. And I certainly intend to use my trip to Way Way Chenango as a promotion for our Sister City organization. And that was it.
Yeah, Edward, you are in the right direction. You are in the right direction. This is exactly what I did when I was dealing with Winneba. Almost every city council member at that time had a video of Winneba at that time.
Yes.
I've forgotten those who were city council members, but almost everybody had a video of Winneba. So you are in the right. Carry on.
You know, there's an advantage of having been on the Sister City Commission many years ago, because now I get a chance to work on things in a better way than we were able to do.
Okay.
Not that we did anything wrong, but you know, there's a learning experience that goes on with it. And it's funny because I came on the commission, Nana, as you had gone off. Same we sort of passed it always. but thank you all for the opportunity to assist with this. I am so proud of this organization, and I want to thank all of you.
And we have to remember the city has given us our budgets. Don't let us hoard them anymore, or we won't get it again. No hoarding this time.
Yes.
Let us use it.
We appreciate you all representing.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm over.
Thank you. All right, now we go on to Poggio and Stella.
Bene, so the main thing again is the concert. I think it's going well. I booked the front porch for December 10th. Now I'm in the process of finding hospitality for them. They are 4 people, 2 men, 2 girls, and 2 boys. Terry, the former committee member for Poggio, she said that she can have 2 of them. So I think I'm going to send an email to all of you to see if anyone else of you can give them some hospitality before going outside the committee. And I'm also in the process of finding the instruments for them, because they cannot bring them from Italy because it's too expensive. But apart from that, I think everything else should be fine. The flight is paid by Poggio, so they are doing that part. The only thing, I don't know if they are coming, they are arriving at Dallas, so I don't know if they are coming here by bus or if I have to figure out that too. But I think they are, I'm expecting to wait. I'm waiting for Poggio to say something what they decided to do. But I think everything else is going fine, I would say.
What is their arrival and departure date?
They arrive actually on December 9, so they arrived the day before. So they stay only 2 nights.
Oh, are you serious?
I know, I don't know why, but
It's crazy.
So I think they are leaving like the next day after the concert.
Oh, that's a shame. I wonder why they're leaving so quickly.
I don't know. I honestly didn't ask.
Oh my.
Could I ask a quick question? I'm sorry, I had, I'll give Kina updates on the Sister City meetings. And I mentioned the musicians that would be visiting us, and the fact that they are minors, right? They're high school students, is that right?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
No.
I heard that at the, thought I heard that at the annual.
I think at a previous meeting that was said, but that's
They're not. They are adults. They already published some records.
Okay, good. But because the question was whether or not there would be an adult to accompany them. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
And look, commission members, none of you has made any attempt to visit Winneba. Please do that.
I would love to.
Do that. We are expecting you in May.
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
Okay.
And Max, please, and Max, please whisper that into the ears of the city council members too.
Yeah. And you guys can also compose some type of letter, just inviting them to any one of your trips to any of the sister cities.
Very good.
Yep.
Thank you. Good.
Okay, so thank you, Stella. Keep us updated. Gosh, for just a couple of nights, I would think it wouldn't be too difficult to find host families for them.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah.
So the 9th they arrive and the 11th they depart. That's
think
just
so.
sad. Oh my God.
I mean, they're just coming from that for that. They're not even staying to, I don't know, to go to Washington or I don't know.
Wow, okay,
But maybe they can't. I mean, they work probably. I don't know.
right. If you find out they're staying a little longer, let us know.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move along. I think we're really probably about finished. We're going to, I think, skip over the grants conversation, unless I think I'm probably the last member of that committee here. We'll be working on that pretty soon. Outreach, further discussion on the retreat session. I don't really think we want to carry on a conversation on that right now without our new chair of that position who led us in that conversation where we had the post notes and whatnot. Unless anyone would like to add anything on outreach, we can certainly do that.
I just had one follow-up question. So I think last time at the meeting, I mentioned that I'm working on the updating the website. But for a lot of parts of the website, I was looking for more pictures. And I was wondering if there's a place other than the Google Drive folders where I could find more pictures.
Nana, do you have photos from any of your trips that you could share?
I sent them
Oh, yeah.
to who is that?
Was it Adrian?
Yeah.
Oh, was it
The fire truck and all the visits and all that for Winneba.
There are a bunch on the Charlottesville Winneba Foundation Facebook page. I believe.
okay? Actually,
Yep.
Winneba, I did find an ample amount of photos, but I was looking more for the rest of the cities.
Other countries.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I can gather some photos for you
Okay.
from some of the different things in Bethesda. Elizabeth has
Okay. Good.
having been involved in some of these changes there. I may have a hoard of photos that I can share with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I
So,
didn't
yeah.
know if there are any photos from past events or sister city meetings or anything that could be put in the drive. Yeah.
The commission is talking about funds, but they are not talking about inflation.
Sorry?
The commission is talking about distributing funds, but they are not talking about inflation.
Yeah, we'll have
Inflation.
to have that
Yes.
conversation another day.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good one.
Yes, inflation will have to be brought in our next session.
Okay.
Hello. Okay.
Okay, anything else on outreach? Okay, and education?
I think my update on Best in Song
Mhm.
covered pretty much education because that's mostly working with Charlottesville High School.
Vivian, did you have anything you'd like to add on education?
Not right now.
Okay,
Um,
sounds good. And anything on budget and finance? All right.
Just
Well,
wanted
on
to add for anyone that'll be taking a trip to one of the sister cities, namely Edward and Elizabeth, and Nana, you too. If you want some type of proclamation or letter from the city manager or mayor to present, just give us ample time to let us know. Give us ample
Yes.
time to get something prepared or to purchase something.
Okay.
That's what you choose to do, just so that it doesn't leave us scrambling at the last minute.
Okay.
Try to get
Yes,
something.
I definitely will do it far ahead of
Yeah,
time.
yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Max.
Max, I did send you a Google Drive link to
I
my
got it.
observations.
I got it. I've already accessed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Folks, well, thank you very much. It's been a good meeting, and we will be in touch with each other about our November meeting, okay? And we'll look forward to being together in the future. So,
And if you decide not to meet in person, let me know so I can cancel that reservation so someone else could use that space if they need it.
sure thing. And are we basically booked there from this point on? In
I didn't
Bettman?
check that. I just checked the next month, but that's something I can look into.
Okay, thanks. That would be great if we could just have that time each month.
Okay.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Damon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.